Biden's controversial decision targeting Israeli settlers in the West Bank. In a move that has sparked international outcry and heightened tensions in the Middle East, President Joe Biden has issued an executive order targeting 4 Israeli settlers residing in the West Bank. The decision, which marks a significant departure from previous U.S. policy, has drawn sharp criticism from Israeli officials and their allies, who view it as an unprecedented interference in Israel's internal affairs and a violation of its sovereignty. The executive order, signed by President Biden in a closed-door meeting at the White House, calls for the immediate expulsion of the 4 Israeli settlers from their homes in the West Bank. The settlers, who are accused of illegally occupying Palestinian land and perpetrating acts of violence against Palestinian civilians, have been identified by U.S. intelligence agencies as key instigators of unrest in the region. The decision to target Israeli settlers in the West Bank comes amid growing calls from human rights organizations and advocacy groups for the Biden administration to take a stronger stance against Israel's continued occupation of Palestinian territory. Critics argue that the Israeli settlements are a major obstacle to peace in the region and a violation of international law, and they have urged the United States to hold Israel accountable for its actions. However, the Biden administration's decision to single out Israeli settlers for punitive action has drawn condemnation from Israeli Prime Minister Naftali Bennett and other members of the Israeli government. In a strongly worded statement issued shortly after the executive order was announced, Prime Minister Bennett accused President Biden of betraying America's long-standing alliance with Israel and capitulating to pressure from anti-Israel forces within his own party. The executive order has also strained relations between the United States and Israel, which were already tense following President Biden's decision to re-enter the Iran nuclear deal earlier this year. Israeli officials have warned that the targeting of Israeli settlers in the West Bank could have serious consequences for bilateral relations and undermine efforts to revive peace talks between Israel and the Palestinians. In response to the executive order, thousands of Israeli settlers have taken to the streets in protest, calling on the Israeli government to take swift and decisive action to protect